What's up, everybody, and welcome to my Hell in a Cell 2020 review. A lot of things to say about this show tonight. 3 Hell in a Cell matches, some interesting changes, a couple surprises here and there, but overall, in a way, I don't think this was a bad pay-per-view. So there is a lot to talk about when it comes to all 3 of these Hell in a Cell matches. I didn't really see much of the pre-show, but given that it was, Truth and Gulak and some 24/7 title thing, I'm glad I missed it. So I don't really need to talk about the pre-show from here. But we do get into the first match of the night, which was a Hell in a Cell match, which I'm surprised this was even the first match of the entire show, was the Hell in a Cell I Quit match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Okay, this is something I really didn't expect to be in the beginning of this show. I'm like, really? This wasn't near the end or like co-main event or something? No, this was like, we're gonna kick this off tonight with them starting the whole show off. And wow, what a match! Let me say that. Now I know Uso came down with like one of the lays they wear in the ring. Reigns just came out with Heyman and whatnot, but there's a lot to say about this match. And this was great. Let me just say right now, this was brutal. This told a fantastic story, and I enjoyed it. Okay, this was fun to watch because you knew Roman was gonna be dominant, taking down Uso and everything. Because let's be honest here, people, we all know Jey Uso was never gonna win this match or become the champion or anything. But just given what we saw here, this was great. All right, this was fantastic and whatnot. Like I said, Roman was dominant. Uso came back with the dive several times on the Reigns into the cage and whatnot. Next, Uso had went for Reigns, but Reigns dropped him with a spear. And, they kept asking him if he was going to quit, but he did not quit, so he put him down with another spear then. And he says, I didn't want to do this and whatnot. And Uso, you trying to make me look like the bad guy right now, but I have to end you and whatnot. Reigns was going to go for another spear, but Uso got him with the knee, hit him with a super kick, and then hit him with the splash from up top, which, Reigns was holding his ribs then. Uso hit a second one. As the ref asked if he wanted to quit, he said no. Uso then got like a strap from under the ring, and he said, you gonna get this work, you rip that shit, dog. But basically, they had to block out the word shit several times from Jey Uso, but he's like, I ain't quitting shit right here. And he started whipping Reigns just with the strap several times until Reigns got him with one more spear. Reigns had then got the strap. He started whipping him when he says, I do the whipping around here. I do it. And as he's just whipping him and just strapping his wrist and whatnot, still whipping him and everything, he's just beating the hell out of Uso. Uso coming back with some punches then until he got him with a super kick, which he was still up, but Reigns went for the Superman punch. Uso got him, hit him with the strap again, wrapping it around his neck, trying to choke him, even knocking him out cold for a second, but he continued to still try to choke him out with that strap, but Reigns was never quitting. Uso ended up bringing a table into the ring then. Reigns hit him with a Superman punch, and then he put him in that guillotine, how he beat Braun Strowman a few weeks ago on SmackDown, and he held in that guillotine, but once again, Jey didn't give up, and Reigns was saying, acknowledge me, acknowledge me, acknowledge me. And they kept asking, do you want to quit? Do you want to quit? And Reigns basically says, I got to take this to the next level then, all right? Uso never responded or anything, so he couldn't really move. He really couldn't even get up and whatnot, so he hit him with a drive-back kick and whatnot, and he says no one will respect you if you don't quit. And he hit him with the drive back kick, but then next he took some steel steps and put it right by his head, so he hit him with another drive back kick. And then he says, you want to go home, huh? What's it gonna be? And they asked if he wanted to quit, but Uso never responded. So Reigns, he basically threw the steps inside the ring, and then he threw the referee over the ropes. Then they kept asking. Next thing you know, a whole bunch of producers came out, Jamie Noble and Pat Buck and others, but Reigns scared them off, and he closed the door, and then he put the steel steps on top of Jey Uso. Says, you 35 years old, you still don't understand, man. All you had to do was acknowledge me. All you had to do was acknowledge me. Just acknowledge me. And he looked like he was going to squish his head in with those steel steps, but Jimmy Uso came out and said, no, you can't do this. This is enough, man. Let's go. No, that's Josh, man. That's Josh, man. Come on, man. What you gotta do, man? We can all do this somewhere else. Don't do this here. It's Josh, man. Remember who your cousin is, basically, man. Don't do this. And Reigns basically sat down, looked like he was gonna stop, and he held on to Jimmy's hand, then grabbing it, and said, "It's all love, man." But next thing you know, Reigns basically put that guillotine into Jimmy Uso. Jey Uso finally woke up, trying to pull his brother out, trying to save him, just trying his best to save his own brother from being choked out. But then he says, I quit, I'm done with this, I'm quit. And he basically saved his own brother by quitting. And basically it's Reigns and Heyman left. Next thing you know, the Wild Samoans were on stage. Alpha and Sika, Reigns' father and uncle, as they hugged them and put lays on him. Basically, the elder ones, the elder gods in a way, are making him the tribe, making him the chief. You are now at the head of the table, and there's only room for one. So I guess they excommunicated the Usos from this family, I guess. This was great, though. This was just story-wise, right? You thought last match story was great. This was even better. This was a brutal match. This told a fantastic story. And even I just thought in my head to myself, wow, why wasn't this the main event of the show? You could have easily closed out the show with this. Just having Reigns stand there with the Wild Samoans basically being the new generation, being the new leader of the table, as the elders are just, passing the torch in a way and whatnot, as, Reigns is, taking his seat at the table. But like I said before, we knew Jey Uso wasn't going to win, but man, he put in the work out there. He definitely did put in the work. So if it's one thing you could really say about this match, is mostly storytelling, because that's what it was. Okay, we knew he wasn't gonna win, but I can tell you right now, they gained a lot of sympathy for Jey Uso and whatnot. So this was great, and yes, he had his hope spots and everything, but Reigns just came back and just murdered this dude. Okay, just straight up murdered him, and even just using his own brother, Jimmy Uso. Basically, he tried to beg him to stop, but that wasn't going to work, and he ended up attacking Jimmy then, which Jey, I guess, had to quit to save his own brother from being taken out. So I don't know if this feud is going to continue. It has to end at this point, and even my friend Gerard said he called and talked about this, saying, I just don't want to see him move on to face Jimmy Uso. Then who else can you move this on? Because this is the best story going on right now in WWE, if you ask me, especially just through both shows. This is the best story going on, okay? Because who else is he going to face right now? And I know some people brought out, you could face Sullivan. I don't think we want to see that or whatnot. But I don't know if it'll be another match between him and Jey Uso, or maybe Jimmy Uso. But this was just great. This was just a fantastic way of opening the show. This felt like a fight. This was a brawl, and I enjoyed it, okay? This one was a great way to kick off the show. But like I said before, I'm very, very surprised this was not the main event, okay? Very surprised. But next, I would say maybe the cool down match after this was Jeff Hardy versus Elias. I can't say I really paid that much attention to it, just given this feud, is because we know Jeff didn't even hit Elias with the car a few months ago, and it ended up being Sheamus, which I swear they said it was Sheamus, but Elias still blames him. Basically, Jeff was going to go for a swanton off the top rope onto the outside of the ring, I think on the table. But he ended up taking the guitar and hitting Elias with it, and, basically ended up in a DQ. So not much I can really say from this. I guess the story's going to continue on Raw or something. Don't say I really care that much, so there you go. Otis went against Miz for the Money in the Bank contract. I am sick of this freaking feud in general. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy the whole APA court segment with, Teddy Long and Asuka and all of them, which was pretty funny. But they did note one thing, that, over 13 years ago, only one person has been able to lose their Money in the Bank contract in a match, Mr. Kennedy and Edge, if you go back that far. But I really don't care about this feud, but there was one thing that surprised me. I'm sure nobody saw coming. After John Morrison was ejected from the ring, Tucker ended up taking the Money in the Bank contract and hitting Otis with it, which caused Miz to get the win. So now Miz is the Money in the Bank winner. So I did not see that coming. Okay, I really didn't see that coming. Miz and Morrison celebrated. We're not going to squander this. And even Miz said somewhere along the way he will be the champion again, like he successfully cashed in before. So I am glad about one thing. They got the Money in the Bank off of Otis. I'm very glad about that. Because I've been wanting, I'm sure everybody is happy about that. But Tucker showed up, and, Miz and them tried to buddy, but Tucker said, this ain't about you, this about me. And he says, I'm tired of being the back. You want to know who tried to help Otis get the money? I did. You know who's been holding this team together? I did. I thought about the team. But Otis wanted to do this all on his own. He wanted to be the star. He can't function without me, okay? He can't even tie his own shoes without him, which this makes sense. And this is justified when you think about it. I think we've all said this before. Otis got more shine than Tucker, which even I've said in the past in many reviews that Tucker may want to watch out. They've made him, he's almost become an afterthought because everything's been focused on Otis, though. Mandy Rose, Otis. Money in the Bank, Otis. Like, everything is Otis that you forget Heavy Machinery was a team. Otis shows the charisma. That's all they cared was Otis, and never nothing about Tucker. So, with Heavy Machinery breaking up, I did not see that coming. But then again, why are we going to continue a feud if both of these guys are on two different shows? So, why even continue a feud if you separated them at this point, which they're not even a team no more, but they're on different shows. So I did not see this coming. I don't know how this is going to work. It makes sense given, Tucker's reaction. Like I said, I'm just glad it was they took the Money in the Bank off of Otis in general, but I did not see this coming one bit. Okay, I really did not see this coming one bit. Do I really care if Miz is the champ, Money in the Bank winner? Not really, which I almost thought this was going to come into play later in the night, which I'll get to in a second, but I did not see this coming at all. That really surprised me. Even, my friend Kyle said this at one point also. And, this is a good question. He says, why does everybody bury Otis all the time when they used to like him, which he's basically doing the same thing he was in NXT. I just think maybe some of the storyline getting involved. One, people just hate that this guy's Money in the Bank winner, which we all hate it. And two, I just think fans just like to complain about the main roster when somebody leaves from NXT, which some of those are justified, but then again, folks just like to complain in general. So that's one answer I kind of gave to him back, which, I thought it made sense because, people said, like, why did they like him in NXT, but they don't want to like him now? So think about that. Just think about that. Next, though, Bayley versus Sasha Banks, Hell in a Cell, SmackDown Women's Championship. This is Sasha's third time in a Hell in a Cell, which she has lost two already to Charlotte and Becky. She was the first one in a Hell in a Cell match. Can she actually win this one this time? This was great. I felt like it somewhat dragged a couple points along. I say this about a lot of these Hell in a Cell matches nowadays, that the cell is barely used and it's mostly a street fight because there were weapons involved. And yes, they were involved because I know Bayley brought that chair in, which Sasha ended up, kicking that chair or something out of it, knocking outside of the ring. And like I said, for Sasha, I know she used that. By the way, how many meteors did she do in this match? Which some of them look good, but she did 3-4 meteors in this match. I know there was a kendo stick involved, which Bayley used, but Sasha got it, hit her with it, but threw it outside. They start fighting over a table then, which Sasha ended up shoving Bayley and, somewhere in the back of the cage, hitting a Meteora, pretty much running on the top of the table, hitting the cage, like I said, with the Meteora and whatnot. Sasha had some chairs then, even some kendo sticks right in the edge of the, steel steps, kind of leaving it there. End up hitting, which Bayley hit a Russian leg sweep through those kendo sticks, two of them, leaving her on the ground. She got the steel, try to get to the steel step stand, pretty much going in the ring. And I know she had got the chair then, I think, at one point. Yeah, they went back to that chair that Bayley had. And, Sasha tried to do the same thing to make her sign that contract and whatnot. And Bayley ended up tripping Sasha then. Bayley pretty much pulled her over the apron then, knocked her outside. Slamming her near the apron and whatnot, still beating her with a kendo stick. And then Bayley just pretty much had a fire extinguisher and whatnot, ended up spraying Sasha then and whatnot. And then, tried another chair in the ring and start hitting. Wasn't hitting the chair, but I think Bayley hit her several times to the cage and whatnot, saying, "You're nothing without me. You're nothing." Hit another Meteora, which I thought that one looked pretty cool when she just hit her jumping off of off a ladder or once again to the cage. Like I said, it was 3-4 Meteoras out there, so I could say that. Like I said, there was a ladder involved. Bayley ended up getting Like I said, she put Sasha onto the ladder and whatnot with some chairs set up, sprayed her with some spray paint, and used that chair with the X to, kind of smash her through it. But Sasha got out the way, and Bayley hurt her arm. Pretty much Sasha knocked into the turnbuckle, hit the meteor right there, and she even did Bayley's finisher onto the ladder, which was a near fall. Bayley came back then with a running knee, hit her with a Bayley to belly, took that chair, beat Sasha with it several times, and was going to perform a finisher onto the chair, but Sasha got out of it, put her into the bank statement with that chair, kicking it several times until Bayley finally tapped out and Sasha winning the women's championship. Sasha really needed the win because, come on, man, how many Hell in a Cell she was going to do before she actually won one? I think this was great. Went on, I felt dragged on a couple points here and there, but this was still brutal. This was a brawl, but like I said before with these Hell in a Cell matches, it was more of a street fight than using the cell itself with these Hell in a Cell matches nowadays. And I'm sure one thing people will love to see in Hell in a Cell matches nowadays, where's the blood, folks? Where's the freaking blood? Because some of these matches really could have used blood out there. All right? But overall, this was still great, and Sasha ended up winning the title. So hopefully this time maybe Sasha can defend the title for once without losing it. Okay, so we'll see what happens if this. Well, I'm sure this feud's going to continue. Hurt Business was in the back, talking about how I guess Slapjack is going to be Lashley's opponent tonight for the U.S. title. Which, listen, this was a waste of time. It's Slapjack, folks. Listen, Lashley won, hit the Hurt Lock on him. And then the others came out to attack Lashley, which Lashley even fought these guys off before the Hurt Business even came out. And then next thing you know, Ali was in the ring, but the Hurt Business surrounded him, and Ali crawled out of there as the Hurt Business, not the Hurt Business, but Retribution ended up running. So yeah, like I said before Monday, as the Joker was saying under the Red Hood, yeah, these guys are dead. Okay, they're dead. There's nothing saving Retribution at this point. At first I was going to say maybe they could try to get a win back or something, but no, you sent Slapjack out there to lose, and then Lashley just beats these guys on this. Didn't these guys got like 100 members at one point? What happened? Yeah, because now these guys are now they're already a lost cause, but this was just even worse, okay? Because, come on, man, they just basically punked the leader out. Listen, the Hurt Businesses looks great in general, right? They're great. No, I can't say nothing wrong about them, but Retribution are just looking horrible. Way horrible. Okay? So I can't really it's nothing saving this. I don't know what they can do to save this, but I don't really think that I can find anything positive to do it, because hey, I like Mustafa Ali, but honestly, I'm sure everybody's going to say send these guys back to NXT and just forget this whole group because it's not working. But hey, we'll see what happens on Raw. And then again, this is a match you would have saw on Raw, and I don't think you still would have cared. Why was this even on pay-per-view? 30 Years of the Undertaker coming up, Survivor Series. We'll see how that's going to go. I'm sure something about that will be big with the Dead Man and another Raw versus SmackDown NXT thing going on. But in the main event, we got the WWE Championship on the line. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. And listen, I told my friend on the phone this while Drew McIntyre's coming out. Oh, the champion comes out first? He's losing the belt. I knew it right off the bat. He was losing the belt, okay? So, I just knew in my mind right there, right now, Drew's losing the title. Why is the champion coming out first? So, yes, Drew comes out first, which the cameraman attacked him, which was Randy Orton, but Drew ended up fighting back, saying you think that's going to work, which they brought outside the ring for a second until they got in the ring. Orton had a chair in at one point, pretty much trying to put on McIntyre's jaw and everything, and, just trying to squeeze it in there. Orton had a lot of offense, I know that, which even I felt like a lot of these guys started to move very methodically at one point. And whatnot. Drew ended up fighting back, pretty much hit him with the Future Shock DDT, even tried to go for a neck breaker then. Yeah, like I said, this match was not bad, I'll say that, and whatnot. Really losing my words right there. But I know Orton ended up throwing McIntyre into like the cage several times. Even there was a table against the wall at one point, which McIntyre ended up suplexing Orton right through it, putting him through the table. Drew got back up then into the ring, pretty much kicking Orton several times. But, as they got back in the ring again, Orton ended up with like one of them draping DDTs and whatnot. Orton got some bolt cutters, and he left the cage then for some reason, leaving it. Drew went after him. He attacked him then, and Orton ended up throwing him into the cage, but Orton started to look up, and he climbed the cage, telling Drew to come up there. Drew climbed up there. Orton had a weapon. He tried to swing at McIntyre, but McIntyre took him down. But Orton ended up, I guess, hitting him in the nuts then with that weapon then as he started climbing down the cage then. And then Drew started climbing down the cage, and I'm sure everybody saw this coming once they got to the middle. Orton slammed McIntyre's head to the cage. He went through the table then, bleeding from his mouth. There was a fake holy shit chant at one point. Orton went down. He looked at McIntyre, who was just bleeding and coughing as, he put his head on his head for some reason. And then he started picking him up, trying to get him back into the cage, then setting him up for the RKO. But Drew tried to get him with the backslide, just like SummerSlam. But Orton got out of it. He got Claymore kicked, but Orton rolled to the outside. Drew pretty much got him up, set him up for one more Claymore kick, but Randy Orton got out the way, hit him with the RKO for the win. 30 minutes, folks. I don't see all these Hell in a Cell matches with 30 minutes. Listen, some would say that there was too many Hell in a Cell matches in general, but I thought a lot of these were great in their own way. As for the main event, though, I still think this was a really good match, but I felt like Randy Orton was going to win this. Now, I know the rumor everybody's been saying, and even my neighbor has told me this several times, that the rumor is going to be Randy Orton versus Edge at WrestleMania. You gotta look at Drew's time as the champion. I figured Orton was going to win here. I was kind of saying that for a minute now since we've continued this feud for God knows how long. I look at Drew, which I don't think he's been a bad champion. Some believe he should have been champion all the way to WrestleMania. I'm not really sure if he was going to hold the belt for over a year in that. But Randy Orton just been on a fantastic roll as a heel lately. He's been fantastic on this run, okay? He's just been great. And was he now like 14 times the champion and whatnot? So, it's a lot you could say when it comes to Randy Orton and Drew in this match, all right? I didn't really expect, Orton to win. No, I did say I expected Orton to win, but I just had a feeling Drew was losing. But what gave it away was when, as soon as Drew came out first, I just kept saying, he's losing the title. Why is the champion coming out first? If the champion's coming out first, and it happens a lot in these matches, they're losing the title. And that's just what kind of gave it away for me, okay? Some would say this match moved very slow, which it did move slow several points and almost boring. Even when I was talking to my friend, he called back. He literally dozed off during this match. He dozed off in the main event because he felt it was moving so slow, I bet. And he says, what's going on? It was like I was saying something on the phone, and he did not know what was going on unless I said something to him, like, you were up? And he says, no, dude, I dozed off. Because I guess this match was going so long for this Hell in a Cell and whatnot. So I'm sure it will be a rematch between Drew and Orton for the belt. I do expect that to happen, maybe by Survivor Series. I don't really know, but some believe that the plan is still going to be Edge versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens with that. Would I have kept the belt on Drew? Yeah, but given how long this feud was going to go, I expected Orton to win this, okay? I wouldn't say Drew's run has been bad as champion. Yes, the guy got hit with a very bad luck given that we live in a pandemic right now and there's no crowd, and the guy had to win the title in front of, nobody at WrestleMania, and has had to defend the title literally in front of nobody ever since he's had the belt. I've enjoyed him as champion even and whatnot. I liked a lot of his matches, and even though I felt like some of those feuds didn't make much sense, I enjoyed him because he became one of the best things on Monday Night Raw, okay? So do I feel like it was his time to lose? Not really, but like I said before, I felt like Orton was winning this, okay? I really did. But, other than that, though, that's all I can really say about Hell in a Cell. I don't think this pay-per-view was bad. This was probably one of the better Hell in a Cell pay-per-views, I'll say. At least this time, we got a finish in these things. We didn't get any, hey, let's do a disqualification in a Hell in a Cell match. Let's end the match. I've never heard they do a DQ, or the match stops for whatever reason, and it's a Hell in a Cell match where anything goes. So at least that didn't happen this time. Overall, I enjoyed the Roman and Uso match. I think that was probably maybe the best Hell in a Cell match out of the entire night, which I almost felt that should have ended the show. So That's one thing I could say from that. If I put second place, maybe Sasha and Bailey, and I'm debating on whether to put in second or third place. Sasha and Bailey or Drew and Orton. Which one would you recommend putting in the second, third place? Please tell me that. The Otis and Tucker heel turn, I really didn't see that coming. Especially Miz winning the Money in the Bank from Otis. I really didn't see that coming. So that's what I was actually surprised about. But I'm just sick of this feud in general. Jeff Hardy versus Elias, I didn't really care. I was like somewhat watching, but halfway watching at the same time. Retribution are dead. What was the point of even having this match on TV? So on pay-per-view in general, you could have put that on Raw. No one still would have cared. Okay, so I didn't hate Hell in a Cell more this year. This was good. I think mostly just was all in Hell in a Cell matches, okay? That's what was making the night out of this show in the given time they had, since most of these matches were literally nearly 30 minutes apiece out of all 3 Hell in a Cell matches, okay? But overall, I thought this was at least a little bit more enjoyable. I just think the Roman and the Jey Uso match was the best one, given that it was still a great match. But of course, everyone's talking about the fantastic storytelling they were doing out there also. So yeah, Hell in a Cell this year. Yeah, if I had to grade it, maybe a B. I would say maybe a solid B to a B plus in my opinion. Tell me what you think about the grade about this show, okay? Tell me, what do you think about Hell in a Cell this year, and what would you have graded the show, okay? But other than that, though, that's all I really got to say about this pay-per-view tonight. Other than that, check out my Bound for Glory 2020 review, which I did review last night. Pay-per-view and everything. Had a lot to say about that show. Like I said before, shout out to the Urban Wrestling Network that helped me watch that pay-per-view for free on Fight TV, okay? Thank you, my friend. But, as I said before, check out that review. And, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. This was really good show. I could say that. It's better than putting on a Family Guy Brian Stewie segment on Wednesday. Oh, how much will I get right there, huh? I'm sure, like I said, I know a lot of people that are up and down on that whole thing anyway, so I'm not going to get into that right now. But, yeah, tell me what you think about Hell in a Cell tonight. Did you enjoy the show? Did you hate this show? How would you grade it? How would you put it in general, okay? So, yeah, like I said before, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. I know I'm repeating myself and whatnot, but, yeah, that's what I've had to say about this pay-per-view tonight. So, we will be back tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw, okay? So, things getting real spooky around here in the month of Halloween, and I guess Hell in a Cell, as we get closer to Halloween, this was, I guess, the quote-unquote pay-per-view to go with this, all right, until Halloween Havoc this Wednesday and everything. So, hey, folks, the road to Halloween is still this Saturday. So, other than that, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.